few weeks ago, I made a video ranking all of the sample courses in the original Super Mario Maker. They were complete garbage. Now, the reason I ranked them was to coincide with the shutdown of the Wii U online service, and by the time this video releases, it will already be dead. However, the sample courses were not uploaded online. You'll be able to access them even after the service shuts down. What you won't be able to access, though, are the event courses, as they're uploaded to the course world. The event courses are lost media. These levels were either made to go with some sort of event, or give the player access to a brand new Mystery Mushroom costume. Lucky for me, just before the service shut down, I decided to replay through all of these since I haven't touched them since their event release. And just like the sample course video, I thought it'd be fun to rank them all from the worst to the best. Now, my main hope going back to the event courses was that they'd at least be a bit better than those sample courses. So, how did they turn out? Okay, that's an exaggeration. While the lows here are somehow lower than the sample courses, the highs are much higher and there are just more good levels in general. That primarily comes down to the fact that these were all actually designed to be full levels, whereas most of the sample courses lasted no more than 20 seconds. But as for this ranking, I'll be using the same criteria, being fun and creativity. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel. At 200k, we're ranking— Wait, we hit it! Yippee! Thank you all so much for helping me reach this milestone, and we honestly hit it significantly faster than I was anticipating. Just like I did for the Mario Odyssey Moon ranking at 100k, I'll be posting progress updates on the video in the community tab. Right now the script is about halfway done, so my goal is to release the ranking about mid to late summer. But enough about that, let's jump into this list. Okay, so really weird thing about this list. I looked at the wiki before doing this video and saw that there were 47 event courses. However, after playing through everything, my list only had 45 levels. Confused, I checked back at the wiki and saw a level I hadn't gone through in my revisit. After taking a closer look at its box, I noticed that it said it was deleted. They got my boy Sean. Yeah, so the levels Super Baka Rhythm Land and Sean's Mossy Mole Mischief were both deleted, and so I couldn't replay them for this ranking. Honestly, I was pretty sad about that because I remember when the Sean the Sheep level came out and really wanted to retry it. I don't care about Baka Rhythm though, his course can stay going. Now, I looked around the internet and couldn't find any reason why either of these were deleted. It looks like maybe the Baka Rhythm one was always intended to be, since it's the only event course you weren't allowed to download, but I found nothing on Sean the Sheep. That especially sucks because now it's impossible to unlock his Mystery Mushroom costume. Well, I guess you can't unlock any of them now, so who cares? Alright, side tangent aside, let's get into the actual list. 45, Cat Peach's course. Do I really have to say what makes this bad? Yeah, this is the most hot garbage level of the event course selection. The first screen is pure enemy spam, and the only way to escape it is by hitting an invisible vine block. That's made even worse by the fact that Bowser can destroy the block under it, sometimes making the vine nearly inaccessible. Even if you manage to get out of here alive, the level still has more garbage after this, with invisible block traps that are just so much fun. The only good thing about this level is that it's relatively short. This was made because Nintendo used to have a show on their YouTube channel with a Cat Mario and Cat Peach puppet. This level would unlock the Cat Peach Mystery Mushroom upon completion. But that's not worth it, I never want to see a cat again. 44, Nisekoi, Sagumi, and Marika. Okay, right away this level is based on an anime that I've absolutely no knowledge of. I've only ever seen 2 anime, so this is a bit out of my expertise. There are going to be a lot of these levels that I'm unfamiliar with the source material for, so a lot of this may go over my head. In those cases, I'll just be judging how they are as levels rather than references, so I apologize for that. If it makes you feel better, I looked up a funny moments compilation of this anime for research, and it made me feel worse than this level did. This level gives you 2 choices of paths to go. I went down the right path and it was literally just enemy spam with a star run. Yeah, I'm not even gonna bother with the other path, this level's just hot garbage. This and another level we'll see later are used to unlock a Mystery Mushroom costume from this anime, by the way. 43, Areno Maker returns. This and the next 2 levels are made by Shinya Areno, who is the host of Game Center CX. Beating all 3 of these would unlock him as a Mystery Mushroom costume. Sadly, he's not very good at making levels. They're pretty much all hot garbage, but you can at least see a little level design in each of them. This first one is underwater, which obviously makes it the worst because underwater levels are usually not fun. This is also really funny because they just gave up halfway through. I'm not kidding, the back half of this stage is literally blank except for a few arrows. Gee, I wonder what will happen if I go down here. Surely I wouldn't die. 42, New Areno Maker, and 41, Areno Maker. I pretty much have the exact same thoughts on both of these, so I'll just talk about them at once. They're also very messy levels, but unlike the last one, they're on ground. That makes them slightly more fun, but they're still not great. 40, Super Mario Kun 25th Anniversary. This is based on a Mario manga in Japan, and upon completion, you unlock this really strange looking Mario Mystery Mushroom. Can't say that word, I won't stoop down to that level, I've gotta stay strong. No! Anyway, the level itself is just more hot garbage, who could have guessed? I'm pretty sure the elements in the stage are supposed to spell out something, but I can't read. The only reason this is higher than the last few is because it's in Mario U. Most of these stages are in the original Super Mario Bros. Style to go with the Mystery Mushroom, so this is a nice change of pace. Well, not nice, it's still awful, but you know. 39, PAX West 2015, A Megathon Final Road. This level starts decently enough. I like the enemy cars as they're pretty deadly, and the conveyor staircases are also a pretty unique obstacle. After that, there are a few more good obstacles like chain chomps and cannonballs on a vine climb before the level sadly devolves. Once we exit the sub area, we are immediately faced with a picador, which is obviously something I find obnoxious. When we pick the right door though, the rest of the level is just a fire spam Bowser fight. I know this is personal preference, but I really don't like these. They just give you infinite power-ups, so it's chaotic for no reason. In my opinion, this is a not cool Bowser fight. 38. Tokaigi 2016 Content Course 2. Here we have the literal only Mario 3 event course. Such a shame they decided to make it terrible too. This is a ghost house, and while it does have some interesting puzzles like using a POW to enter this door, and I also like the Muncher wave, it's got a lot of annoying elements too. There's a picket path at one point that basically leads to an unreactable death if you go down it. I also don't like this P-switch puzzle. Not only do you have to hit invisible blocks, but you need to hit a P-switch, then carry another one through this door, which isn't made obvious until you get to the part where you need to hit the second switch. Overall, this is an improvement, but it's got a lot holding it back. 37. Barbara and Tomatoland. This level really confuses me. It unlocks the Barbara Mii costume from Jan with the band. My only knowledge of this series is that there's a Barbara wig in Smash, so I did not get the references here at all. A majority of this level is just 1-1, but the ground is coins, so you need to use a P-switch. Yeah, if any of you want to explain the reference, feel free to, but 1-1 remakes are so overdone that I had to place this low. 36. Mario and Luigi Paper Jam. This is created to coincide with the release of that game, and it also gives us a brand new mystery mushroom featuring the 3 main characters of that game. I've always liked this mystery mushroom costume, and it's pretty much the only thing helping this stage. The rest of it is just really messy enemy spam. Maybe there's some references to the game in here, but I couldn't see it. 35. Tokaigi 2016 Content Course 3. This is a kinda cute concept where you need to get a projectile with Yoshi, shoot it at a paratroopa, and then drop bill blasters onto a P-switch. They don't really do anything too interesting with this though, and by the end it honestly just feels like enemy spam. 34. Starfy, Prince of Puff Top. As the name suggests, this is the level where we get to unlock the Starfy mystery mushroom. This is another series I only know from Smash Bros though. As a level, this mostly takes place underwater, which isn't ideal. At least it actually feels like professionals made this level with fairly well done aesthetics and decent level design. 33. US Saki's Big Adventure. This level will unlock her mystery mushroom costume upon completion, and she's apparently some host of a 3DS radio show I never heard of. I just imagine she's Hatsune Miku, it's close enough. This level is very similar to our last, having a large underwater focus. I think this is a bit more interesting with it requiring us to collect keys. There's also a few con cards we could use, but I generally avoided them if I could. The end of the level is also a bit of a shooter, which is somewhat cool. 32. Adventure in Sarasaland. This level was used to unlock the Daisy mystery mushroom. How was she not in the game at launch? Now you'd think that would mean the level would be based on a Mario Land level, but instead it's mostly underwater. The only underwater level in that entire game is the submarine level, but this doesn't even use a fire clown card to make it a shooter. I seriously just don't understand what the point of this is. At least when you get to the surface it makes more sense, with the tracks being shaped like that game's pyramids and the pipes looking like the Mario Land ones too. 31. Walk in the Undo Dog.
What the dog doing?
So I think the theme of this level is cute, where we have to take the Undo Dog for a walk. Why are we underwater? That's not walking. So yeah, this devolves into more underwater, which again just makes no sense with the theme. It is probably the best design of these water sections, with a ton of flying piranha plants and even chain chomps, which do fit with the dog theme. I just would have liked if we spent more time actually walking the dog. Oh, and if it wasn't obvious, this gives you the Undo Dog mystery mushroom. 30. Cat Mario's course. This luckily turned out to be a lot better than Cat Peach's counterpart. This is a pretty short and simple showcase of some scenarios where you could use Koopa shells. You have to take out the piranha plants, Goombas, and even use it to collect coins. This is a pretty short level and far from complex, but it also doesn't do anything too bad. 29. Southwest Air Adventure. This level was created by employees of Southwest Airlines, and I think they did a decent job. This level gives us the brand new Mario Land plane mystery mushroom and has us flying through the sky while avoiding enemies. The end of the level does sort of devolve into a bit of enemy spam, but for the most part, this is an okay course. 28. Nintendo Badge Arcade. This level is based on the 3DS application and gives you a mystery mushroom based on that game's mascot. This is pretty much separated into 2 parts. First you have to avoid a ton of enemies on conveyor belts, and then you transition to a clown car segment on an airship. Both are decently fun, though not particularly memorable. I'm also not sure how much this actually has to do with Nintendo Badge Arcade since I never downloaded it. 27. Nice Koi, Shitogi, and Kusaki. Here's another one of those levels from that anime we saw earlier. This is also a choose your own path level, but this time instead of an awful star run, I got a pretty solid platforming level with a ton of falling platforms and vines. They use the ideas pretty well here by having the vines attached to tracks. So for being a much better design level with the choose your own adventure gimmick, I think it deserves to be up much higher than the other one. 26. Mario Hills. Get it? Because it's like Mario. This level is based on Monster Hunter and gives you the feline mystery mushroom. Now, I'm not really sure how much of this level is based on Monster Hunter, but it was fun to platform through. You have to climb over chain chomps and avoid a lot of giant enemies. The level is also stellar in the aesthetic department as well. Really, the only problem is that it's super short, being one of the shortest event courses. Still, I think this is the point in the list where the levels really start to get good. 25. NES Remix. To go with the release of that game, they made a 1-1 remake. Now, to be fair, if any game was going to get a 1-1 remake for an event, it does make sense to be this one. That's not all this level is either, as it's actually both a 1-1 and 1-2 remake. The 1-2 portion has you go through the stage mirrored, which is kinda cool because it's something you actually have to do in an NES remix. They should really bring this series back sometime, it was super fun. This stage is used to unlock the Frog Mario mystery mushroom, which really doesn't make sense. Why didn't they remake a Mario 3 level then? Well, whatever, this was still fun even if the remakes are overdone. 24. NES Remix Super Mario Bros. 2. This is another NES Remix course and it's better than the last one for a few reasons. First off, the mystery mushroom Mushroom makes sense being Birdo, who actually came from Mario Bros. 2. Secondly, this level is a remake of that game's 1-1, which is not only more original, but takes a bit more effort. It's interesting to see them try and recreate that game through the original Super Mario Bros. Style. I'm still not a huge remake fan, but I can at least appreciate this. 23. Secrets of Statue Mario. This mystery mushroom is based on the statue from Mario 3's Tanuki suit. While the costume is cute, the level itself does kind of feel random. Not necessarily bad, but the different obstacles don't really make much sense together. First you dodge piranha plants, then a ton of thwomps, then you get chased by a bomb, after that you ride a skull platform, then you dodge some more piranha plants, and finally you end up running across some platforms. All of those sections are decently fun, especially the piranha plants you have to dodge while climbing 2 vines, but I just don't really get why they were mashed together like this. 22. Twilight Princess HD. To go with the release of that remake, we got a level based around a wolfling mystery mushroom. This is peak! I really like the aesthetics here. We start the stage by breaking into a giant head, which brings us into a dungeon. There's a lot of decent platforming to start, but it unfortunately gets a bit annoying with Bowser Jr. First off, I had to wait forever for him to break this block. Then you also have to use him to break a block for the escape, but if you defeat him before that, then you have to refresh the room. Luckily, the level picks up again with the section outside the dungeon with a ton of fire piranha plants. It's pretty hard to get through here without getting hit. Then you have to fight Bowser Jr. 2 more times before the level ends. Overall, this one is definitely pretty solid. I'm just not a huge fan of the parts involving Jr. 21. Squid Sisters vs. Bloopers. This level actually gives 2 mystery mushroom costumes, one for Callie and one for Marie from Splatoon. Because of that, this level lets you choose which you want to be, having you go through a slightly different underwater section for each. Now yeah, underwater is lame to see, but at least it makes sense with them being squids as opposed to the water in the Undo Dog level. Above ground, you have to avoid a lot of bloopers while jumping across platforms shaped like squids, which is pretty cute. Not the most complicated level in the world, but I like having the choice of path and costume here. 20. Mario's Lunch Break. This gives the mystery mushroom for the titular Mario, and she's got a lot of interesting elements here in her level. You start by coming out of an office building, then running through a mushroom forest. You have to do a little bit of vine jumping, which brings you to an airship section. This is unfortunately an auto-scroller, but I had fun with it because it's a shooter section. You have to avoid a ton of different enemies during your flights, and at the end, you have a pretty unique boss fight where you have to destroy a bunch of hard blocks to get to the ending pipe. Once you beat it, that's pretty much the end of the stage, and I think it was a pretty cute one. 19. Ku, featuring Yamamura. Here's the mystery mushroom level for our other Mario Maker tutorial character. With Yamamura being a bird, this has the theme of a lot of flying objects. You have to dodge a ton of winged piranha plants while also jumping between winged blocks. They made the platforming here honestly pretty intense, and while the level does sometimes feel a bit random, I think this was overall pretty good. 18. Metal Resistance. This level was created to promote the band Baby Metal's new album of the same name. I'm sure as you could probably predict, I'm not familiar with this band because I only listen to good music. Minecraft parody. This level also gives us access to the Baby Metal Mystery Mushroom, which is cool because it's another trio. As for the level, it's split into 2 parts. First, we have to run through a small ghost house room collecting 3 pink coins, which is pretty fun. Then at the halfway point, we transition into a castle. This features a lot of pretty solid obstacles like thwomps and skewers. Overall, this level is just a pretty solid amount of content. Good exploration and difficult platforming are things I like, so I enjoyed this level. 17. Triforce Heroes. This came out with the release of that game and gives us one of my favorite Mystery Mushroom costumes. The main gimmick of Triforce Heroes is the triple length stack, and we get that as a costume here, which is really cute. This level also uses its theme pretty well. There are a ton of Triforces scattered throughout the stage, which I probably don't have to tell you fits Zelda. They also have a strong focus on stacking 3 enemies on top of each other, which fits with Triforce Heroes specifically. While the level design here is far from the most complex, I like how they tried to implement elements from this game. 16. Hello Kitty and My Melody. This is another level where you choose a path based on one of its costumes. You get both Kitty White and Melody here, and I decently enjoyed both of their paths. Both feature well done pixel art of their respective character and a bit of platforming where they have to avoid piranha plants. Not really sure how relevant that is to either of their brands, but hey, it was fun. Of the 2, I think I prefer Melody's path just because it was a bit harder. 15. Ship Love. This comes to us from the lovely people over at Facebook.
Hey everyone.
This is also the very first event course, and in my opinion, the hardest by far. This level switches between an airship which is filled with a lot of enemies to a ghost house with a lot of puzzles. Of the 2, I definitely prefer the ghost house portion. It's a lot of fun to jump through, and there are some decent puzzles along the way. That's not to say the ship doesn't have anything though. I like the portion with the chain jumps and cannons as it's some pretty difficult platforming. Now for all the great things this level does have, I'll be honest, it dips pretty hard in the middle. There's not only a pointless star run, but a long section where you have to do bomb excavation while Bowser shoot at you. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of either of these, but at least it picks back up for the ending with a very tricky moving platform segment in the ghost house. Now what makes this level the hardest comes down to its absurd length. It's far longer than any of these levels, and worst of all, there's no checkpoints since this was made before they were added. That can make this level extremely frustrating. Had I had checkpoints, I think I would have moved it up a bit higher. 14. Welcome to Saturn Valley. This is based on the Mr. Saturn Mystery Mushroom costume from Earthbound. His taunt is also one of the best ones to spam since he just raises his eyebrows. This level takes place in a little village with several houses that you can go inside of. Platforming here is just pretty strong. I like the part where the piranha bombs jump at you, and having to climb vines while bullseye bills track you is pretty scary too. Overall, this was pretty fun. 13. Dr. Kawashima's athletic training. The theme for this course is just extremely funny. This is of course focused on the Dr. Kawashima mystery mushroom, and if you've ever played Brain Age or Smash, you know that he's just a floating head. Well, this level uses that to its advantage by having a ton of block-built bodies that you can place your head onto. This is such a funny gimmick, and it's fun seeing all the different combinations. Oh, he died. The platforming itself isn't anything that special, I just really like the idea. 12. Paranormal Research. This is a pretty difficult ghost house level revolving around the Professor Egad mystery mushroom. That of course fits him perfectly, being one of the main characters in Luigi's Mansion. There's plenty of great platforming around boos, boo rings, and even boo stretches. This is also one of the longer levels, but it has a checkpoint, so it feels pretty deserving of it. After the checkpoint, they even throw on some skull platforms, which provide for some more interesting platforming around ghosts, and obviously fit with a theme, because they're, you know, like dead and stuff. If I were to give one criticism though, it'd be at the boo stretch part. There's an invisible block here and it killed me. I hate this level, it sucks. 11. Belch Base. This is another Earthbound level, but this time it's off the character Master Belch. I like this more than the Mr. Saturn one because the theme is much more unique and well executed. You have to go inside a building and it uses the airship aesthetic really well to feel like you're actually raiding some sort of base. There are also a lot of moving parts here. You have to jump between blocks on tracks and there are even cannons on tracks trying to shoot at you. The only downside is that the level is pretty short, but they nailed the aesthetic here. 10. Mercedes-Benz Jump and Drive. This came at the time when Nintendo was absolutely obsessed with Mercedes, adding them to Mario Karts and even creating these horrific ads. I'm happy they did though, because I like this level a good amount. It's held back by being an auto-scroller, but this is well designed around it. First off, the Mercedes mystery mushroom is another one of my favorites. Seeing Mario drive around in a real car is just so funny. For the level, it starts out with a little jingle using music blocks, which isn't seen in any other event course. Once you actually get the mushroom, you get to drive around outside in a city, which fits so perfectly. You can even go inside a lot of these buildings, which isn't required, but it's cool how much extra content is hidden away in this level. For example, going into this door lets you parkour through the sky and eventually enter into a section where the wigglers represent other cars and you have to jump on them to avoid spikes. There's just a lot of depth to this level, and you add on the funny Mercedes costume on top of that, and I can pretty much completely forgive the auto-scroll here. 9. Tokaigi 2016 Content Course 4. This is up here for just being a really challenging platforming gauntlet. It takes place in the Mario U style and really showcases all of its unique attributes. You have to triple jump right at the start, use a propeller to stop your fall and break some bricks, wall jump up while avoiding springs, and even duck between some bumpers. There's a lot of fun and creative platforming here. It feels like an evolved version of the 4th NWC 2015 course we saw in the sample courses video. Now, unfortunately, this isn't perfect. I'm not really a fan of this staircase section where it just feels like filler, and the ending Bowser fight drags on for far too long since you have to kill 3 of them with a fire clown car. Still, this is overall a really strong level with a ton of great platforming. 8. NWC 2017. Continuing the streak of NWC courses placing highly, we have the one created for 2017. This level starts out with a lot of obstacles that bounce Mario around, those being bumpers, springs, and even note blocks. There's no enemies here, but trying to run through these quickly is a fun enough challenge. The platforming gets even more interesting when you enter into the sub area. There are a lot of jumps where you have to duck to fit into a small gap, and you even have to climb a vine past moving springs, which can genuinely be pretty tricky if you aren't paying attention. Following the second checkpoint, we have the most interesting jump where we have to jump off falling donut blocks, which were created by a thwomp. That's pretty creative and also quite intense since you now have to jump between a ton of saws and off a paratroopa. If you manage to survive though, that'll take you to the end. All in all, this was a fantastic platforming level, despite how little enemies there actually are. 7. Yoshi is awesome. This level was the winner of a course creation contest by Famitsu and rewards you with the Neki Mystery Mushroom upon completion. As the name suggests, this level is all about Yoshi. This course actually uses him in surprisingly creative ways too. It starts with us having to get purposefully hit and then run alongside Yoshi through a decent chunk of the level. Once you finally reunite, you then have to use him to eat Piranha Plant Fire and spit it back at them to clear your path. Then you have to kill him. After that, you get another Yoshi and have to jump off this clown car holding a Spiny, which is super creative. Then you use the unique ability of Mario World's Yoshi to pick up items through walls, allowing you to get a P-switch to move on. Finally, the level ends with one massive Yoshi jump. I love all the ideas shown off here. I do think this level could have used a bit more clarity, but overall the ideas here were strong enough, and I perfectly understand why it won the competition. 6. Popo and Nana's Climbing Challenge. This is based on Ice Climber, and it really feels like a level from that game brought into the setting of Mario Maker. We of course get the Ice Climber Mystery Mushroom, which, side note, the taunt is hilarious. Just like an Ice Climber, the goal here is to climb up several platforms, sometimes requiring us to break bricks with our hammers. Each of the platforms also have plenty of enemies to keep the climbing engaging. I also love how they evolve the concept as the course goes on. It starts with a very basic room, then you get into a room with clouds to jump on, then you got a room filled with ice, and the level ends on a room with conveyor belts. They pull off this theme excellently, especially considering the original Mario Maker didn't have vertical levels. Overall, I have no complaints. This is where the list really starts to get great. 5. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, and 4. Toadette Treasure Tracker. I'm covering these two at once since my thoughts remain the same for both. They're focused on the Captain Toad and Toadette mystery mushrooms respectively. If you've ever played Treasure Tracker or the Captain Toad levels in 3D World, you know that the main gimmick for them is not being able to jump. Now without clear conditions, they couldn't make no jumping a requirement here, but they still designed both courses around the idea of not jumping, which is super cool. If you beat these stages while jumping, you're a loser, sorry. Now both of these are fantastic, having a lot of interesting no-jump obstacles, but I think Toadette did it a little bit better. Since hers came out later, she was able to use pink coins. That makes her level more complicated as you have to look for all of the pink coins in the level to win, which fits with the Captain Toad levels where you have to collect all 5 green stars to win. I really appreciate the theming here, it was done perfectly. 3. NES Remix Excite Bike. This course is great. It essentially translates an Excite Bike race into Mario Maker. At the start you are launched right away and have to go against several spiny shellmets. This is a very fast-paced course as you're put on conveyors, which fits the theme perfectly. Eventually you make it into a warp pipe and go from the airship setting to a castle to race against a few more. In both sections there are several hills to jump over, and I really love the aesthetic touch of having black and white flags over the entire stage. While yeah, there isn't much gameplay wise, I couldn't help but just love how they executed this theme. 2. Tokaigi 2016 Content Course 1. I think this is my favorite of these contest courses because it has the best theme of all of them. This level is all about cannonballs and they're used in incredibly creative ways. You start the level with the ceiling entirely made of cannons, but some are black while others are red. So you have to try and make it through here by finding the gaps in their shots, which is pretty fun and intense. Once you make it through, you're then faced with the more platforming-centric underground segment using cannonballs. The jumps here can legitimately be quite difficult, but luckily you can always try again and also open the path from previous sections. The point of going through here is to keep a fire flower to defeat a bunch of piranha plants on the surface. However, when you return, you are forced to once again go through the cannon ceiling from the start. I am a bit mixed on this. It feels a bit filler to have us go through it twice, but it is still fun and now a bit harder since you're taller. Once you make it to the other side though, you can kill the piranha plants and reach the goal. This level did a fantastic job with its theme, and while I'm still a bit mixed on the fire flower stuff, I love the creativity and difficulty on display here. 1. I Choose You. This is based off the Pokémon franchise and is the only one of these levels to unlock 3 different mystery mushrooms, those being for Charmander, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur, the starter trio from the first game. Just like in Pokemon, this level is all about choosing a starter to take on the stage with. Depending on your choice though, you'll actually get a different obstacle course based on their typing. Charmander will have to dodge a lot of fire enemies, Squirtle will have to platform on ice, that's not water, and Bulbasaur has to avoid piranha plants while climbing on vines. The amount of options here really make the level much more interesting. Eventually all the paths are combined and you have to jump across several Pokeball shaped platforms which gradually turn as you make your way through. This was just a phenomenal way to represent the Pokemon series in Mario Maker. I seriously think they did a phenomenal job here. They even modeled the choice of Pokemon off of Professor Oak's lab from Red and Blue. So yeah, I genuinely think they went above and beyond here. So for having 3 different routes that are all fantastically designed and fit perfectly with their source material, I think I Choose You is easily the best event course Mario Maker had to offer. But anyways, that's it for this video. Are you all obsessed with Cat Peach and hate me for calling her level garbage? Let me know in the comments. Like I said, huge thanks again for 200,000 subscribers. I absolutely love doing YouTube for you all, and it makes me so happy to see so many people enjoy my videos. So yeah, look forward to the all level ranking in a few months. I know some people will be disappointed that it's not out right away, but I want it to be as good as possible. Plus, that's also just how we've done every subscriber special so far. But anyways, dry bones for Smash, and I'll see you guys next time.